Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Mark Anderson reveals most important question he asked Kelsey. Mark Anderson quickly became a Bachelor Nation fan favorite when fans first met him during Kelsey Anderson's hometown date with Joey Graziadei. It was at that moment that viewers everywhere wanted to see more of him, especially in the form of being the next Golden Bachelor. He had lost his wife Denise 6 years earlier to breast cancer and decided he was ready to dip his toes back into the dating pool. He joined Joan Vassa's season of The Golden Bachelorette. Unfortunately, Joan did not see a lasting future with him, so she sent him home. This was his first experience with reality television, other than during Kelsey's date, so he had some very important questions. However, there was only he really truly wanted answered before heading to Los Angeles to the Bachelor Mansion. What was it? Keep reading to find out more. Mark Anderson really only wanted to know one thing before filming. Golden Bachelorette contestant Mark Anderson recently appeared on Bachelor Happy Hour with Joe Amabo and Serena Pitt. During his interview with them, he dished on what he asked daughter Kelsey Anderson before leaving for Los Angeles to film with Joan Vassos. It seems he didn't really want to know much about what he should expect dating-wise or even camera time-wise. Instead, his most important question had nothing to do with Joan or the other men who would also be competing for time with the leading lady. Mark wanted the chance to experience the show all on his own without knowing what to expect during the process. However, he had one huge concern. Mark shared that he asked a very important question of his daughter. He said, "Was there sparks with Joan Vassos?" Joe Amabo and Serena Pitt also wanted Mark Anderson to spill the tea on whether or not there were sparks between him and Joan Vassos. He shared that indeed there were sparks flying between him and the Golden Bachelorette. Mark even politely asked permission from Joan before laying a big kiss on her, which she approved of completely. Things seemed to be going great between the two of them. However, in the end, she didn't think he was quite over losing his wife Denise. So she sent him home, and fans are eager to see if ABC will cast him as the second Golden Bachelor. What do you think about Mark's very important question? Do you think he has a shot at being the lead? In a recent candid revelation, Mark Anderson, one of the final contenders for Kelsey's heart on The Golden Bachelorette, shared a defining moment that set his journey apart from the other suitors. As viewers rooted for him, speculating on whether he would win Kelsey's affection, Mark finally unveiled the most critical question he asked her, the one that illuminated not only his intentions, but also his profound connection with her. Mark had already captured audiences with his down-to-earth charm and quietly confident demeanor. Unlike some of the flashier contestants, he preferred letting actions speak louder than words, opting for a measured approach as he navigated his time on the show. Kelsey was clearly drawn to this authenticity, sensing in Mark a man who wasn't interested in playing games. But what really left an indelible mark on her was the question he chose to ask. During a moonlit conversation by a crackling fire, their voices softened by the wind rustling through the trees, Mark turned to Kelsey, gazing at her with intensity and warmth. After a comfortable silence, he leaned in slightly and, with a sincerity that Kelsey felt right to her core, he asked, "What is it you want to feel every day when you wake up?" Mark's question, seemingly simple, struck a chord with Kelsey. It was not a question about hobbies, shared interests, or hypothetical futures. It wasn't even about past relationships or challenges she'd faced in her life. It was about what truly mattered to her, what feeling, what essence she wanted to embrace in the quiet, personal moments before life's business began each day. And that question held a weight that went beyond the fleeting, momentary thrill of reality TV romance. As Kelsey absorbed Mark's words, it dawned on her that she hadn't allowed herself to consider such a deeply personal question in a long time. Reality shows often amplify emotions, and contestants are encouraged to contemplate their romantic lives, through a lens of compatibility, passion, and chemistry. But for Kelsey, who had already lived a full and complex life, Mark's question resonated as something far more enduring. Kelsey's face softened, and she took a deep breath, feeling the layers of her life peel back under the glow of his gentle question. Her mind wandered to moments from her past, waking up beside someone who had her heart but no longer made her feel secure, starting her day with an ache that seemed to shadow her every move, realizing that the feelings she woke up with had set the tone for her entire day, her week, her month, even her years. She knew then how critical that feeling was. Mark, who watched her contemplate in thoughtful silence, had a sense of what this moment might mean. For him, the question wasn't just about her answer, it was about knowing her at a deeper level. The query was a window, a place where Kelsey could show him her heart, and where he could quietly convey that he was ready to make space for whatever she desired in her life. "It's peace," Kelsey finally said, her voice quiet and introspective. "I want to feel a sense of peace. I've chased enough love that felt like an endless roller coaster, exciting but turbulent. I want my mornings to start with stillness, knowing I'm where I belong, and with someone who makes me feel that quiet comfort." Mark smiled softly, sensing he had touched on something important, something foundational to Kelsey. He understood that love for her was less about high-stakes drama and more about someone who could help build that peaceful world. This moment was pivotal, both in his relationship with her and in his own understanding of what he sought in love. He realized, perhaps for the first time in his life, that he too craved peace with the same intensity he'd once sought adventure. As they continued talking, Mark admitted that he had only recently come to value this feeling himself. He recounted a time when his own life was dominated by a need for thrill and novelty, and how it led to relationships that often ended in heartbreak. "I used to think love had to be this big, dramatic thing. That if I wasn't sacrificing everything, I wasn't in love," he explained. "But what I've learned over the years is that love doesn't have to be like that. It can be a calmness, a steadiness, and I'm finally ready to live that way." Their exchange became one of the season's most memorable moments, and viewers quickly took to social media to discuss the depth of Mark's question. For many, it was refreshing to see a reality show delve into a topic that so profoundly reflected the real-life struggles of people who have experienced loss, heartbreak, and the challenges of finding genuine connection. And while Mark didn't promise a picture-perfect future in that conversation, he offered something even more meaningful, a chance for Kelsey to consider what she truly wanted out of a relationship. His question encouraged her to dream, to envision a life where she could find love without sacrificing her need for calm and balance. In the weeks that followed, the couple grew closer, bonding over shared values and the common experiences that only come from having loved and lost. Mark's thoughtful question had created a foundation of understanding that allowed them to approach each new experience with a sense of openness and curiosity. Ultimately, Mark's question was a reminder that love, especially later in life, often takes on a quieter, more intentional form. In a world that often celebrates the whirlwind and the dramatic, Mark's approach was a gentle, refreshing departure. He offered Kelsey the chance to envision a life where she could wake up each day feeling fulfilled, not by grand gestures, but by a feeling of unwavering steadiness and security. As the season drew to a close, fans eagerly awaited the outcome, but for many, the journey itself had been rewarding. In a show that often emphasizes the high-stakes nature of romance, Mark and Kelsey's story was a tribute to the quieter, more lasting kind of love. One built on mutual respect, understanding, and most importantly, peace. And whether or not Kelsey ultimately chose Mark, one thing was clear. His question had forever changed the way she saw love. It reminded her that sometimes, the most profound questions are the simplest ones, and that the answers to those questions can transform not only a relationship but a life.